Welcome back everyone, Michael here with Offshore Citizen. Today we're going to do a super fun video. We had a viewer, Brett Young, who sent a great suggestion. He said, with both American lotteries, over 750 million right now, can you do a video for what overseas strategy you would execute if money were no object? All right, so I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to do this specifically from the standpoint of, again, obviously if money is no object, but where would I live? So my residences, what residencies I would have, what passports I would buy, and I'm going to tailor it around the idea of lifestyle and freedom, okay? So that's what we're going to go through. Stick around. Oh, if you have an idea of what yours would be, maybe before we even get started, put it in the comments below. Say, hey, here's what I would get for passports, here's what I get for residencies, here's where I would live, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Would love to hear you guys' ideas, and you know, you can compare them to mine. So before we get started though, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, make sure you don't miss out on any of our videos. And if you're at all interested in these subjects of how to get residencies, how to get citizenships, what the best passports are, what the best residencies are, if you're not in a situation where money is no object and you care about, you know, optimizing your tax, setting up your company internationally to do business, you need help with banking, payment processing, etc., please reach out to us. You can book a call with me, clarity.fm/Michael Rosmer. There's a link in the description below. Or you can visit our websites, offshorecitizen.net, offshorecapitalist.com. You can send us a message through there. Again, both in the link below. Okay, so let me set the stage here. Imagine this would be maybe for an American who wants to renounce their citizenship. This could be for somebody coming from somewhere where they have, you know, a lack of visa-free access. I'm going to kind of assume you have a blank slate for this conversation, okay? So the truth is, you know, you might already have a decent passport. You might already have a bunch of the things you want. I'm just going to assume blank slate. Again, maybe you're an American who's renouncing their citizenship, and so, you know, they want the world to open up to them. What am I going to start off with? Okay, first I'm going to buy a Hungarian citizenship, okay? Hungarian citizenship, definitely one of the most expensive citizenships, but one of the best. And compared to Malta, because that's kind of the counter trade that somebody might have, it's just really fast to get. So you can get it in, you know, around 2-3 months. So I like that as opposed to going through all this stuff. You know, money is no object, so I value my time more than my money. Let's go with that. I haven't actually saved money over Malta anyway, so that's good news. So I'm going to get that. Now that's going to give me pretty good access to the world, but hey, listen, money is no object. I want to have really great access to the world, right? So what do I not get in the Americas? I get pretty much everything except for Guyana and Cuba, okay? So I don't like missing out on those countries. If I go over to Asia, the big one that I'm missing is China. Okay, I don't like missing out on China. So what am I going to do? I'm also going to go buy the Grenada citizenship. Happens to be one of the most expensive ones in the Caribbean, but again, money is no object for me, so who cares? Let's go and get that. Now I have Cuba, I have Guyana. I'm completely covered north to South America. That feeds my ego very nicely. You know, I can go over and I can look at, I now have China. Now I'm missing Bhutan, which is, you know, okay, I probably don't want to go there so much anyway. I'm not too concerned. Mongolia, I'm missing that. You know, both these places I can probably get visas to go to. I'm missing Afghanistan. I'm missing Turkmenistan. All right, I'm not too concerned about that. Not really interested in going and trying to get an Afghan passport or something. But you know what? There is something else that I dislike, which is I don't like the fact that Azerbaijan, I really like Azerbaijan. I think it's a super cool place. It gives me e-visa access. Why does this bother me? Well, because of the fact that if you use the e-visa process, you have to apply online. I've gone through this process before. And if you've been to Armenia, they won't give it to you. And I want to be able to go to Armenia and Azerbaijan. So screw it. I'm going to go and I'm going to buy a property worth $250,000 in Turkey. I'm going to pay the $7,000 of legal fees. I'm getting myself the Turkish passport in order to get rid of that e-visa and get a straight up visa. This is also going to add in Iraq. Not that I was super concerned about Iraq, but hey, what the heck. So now I'm pretty well covered in terms of places I can go around the world. So that's good. My visa-free travel is taken care of. So now we have to ask, okay, where am I going to spend my time? Well, for me, the starting point is partially going to be weather and quality of life. So, you know, maybe there's some people who, you know, they like quote-unquote shithole countries. Cool, that's great. But since this is a video about money being no object, let's pretend that that's not the case. And I want, you know, high level living, right? So I'm going to get my residency in Singapore. Now, Singapore is not an easy place to get residency. It's quite difficult, but if money is no object, it becomes much easier. To give you guys some context, Ray Dalio recently set up his family office in Singapore. The founder of Dyson is in Singapore. Eduardo Saverin, co-founder of Facebook, moved to Singapore. Jim Rogers, Singapore. Singapore, great place. I'm going to buy myself a killer penthouse there. The founder of Dyson bought the most expensive penthouse there. It's like 20,000 square feet, about 2,000 square meters, 50 million-ish Singapore dollars. So, you know, hey, money is no object. I'm going to get myself a great penthouse in Singapore. I'm going to get my residency there. And some people might ask, well, hang on, from a tax standpoint, aren't you concerned? Well, first of all, Singapore's taxes are reasonable, but I can get away with no capital gains. There's no CFC rules, so I can defer income to an unlimited extent into foreign companies. And if I want to repatriate it, there's ways that I can optimize through certain structures to bring money into Singapore at approximately 0 to 5%. So I'm willing to pay 0 to 5%. After all, you know, I just spent 50 million on a penthouse or something in Singapore. So now why am I choosing Singapore? Let's talk about this. Well, the reason is that I figure you have to be someplace where it's nice during the winter and someplace that it's nice during the summer, right? And I want someplace that is pretty good. So I could say, all right, during the winter, where can I go? Well, I can go to South Africa. These safety issues don't really appeal to me that much. In fact, Africa in general is going to be kind of off the map. India, same thing. If I go to a lot of these Southeast Asia countries, right, I go to Thailand, I go to Bali, I go to Malaysia, etc. I mean, I love these places, but the reality is just kind of quality of life, everything working well, not having to worry about bad traffic, etc. I mean, the main reason that I would maybe consider some of those places is it's cheaper, and hey, listen, like we said, money's no object. So, you know, would rather go with the highest tier quality of life. And so that's that. You could, of course, also pick Australia, but, you know, I don't really want to have them coming after me, and I don't like all their, it's ironic, I say I don't like all their rules, because, of course, Singapore has a lot of rules. But anyway, I like the lushness of Singapore. I think that's great. And more importantly, the proximity to a lot of things is really great. So I can go very quickly from there to Maldives. I can go all over Southeast Asia, Asia in general. I really like Japan, so I can fly up to Japan. It's not that far. I mean, it's not short in that case. But anyway, to me, Singapore, that would be the place. And that's going to be where my official residency is going to be, okay? On the other side, I'm going to say, okay, what about where I'm going to spend my summers, etc.? So here, it's an interesting toss-up because on the one hand, maybe I would say, all right, south of Spain is quite nice, right? The weather is great there. If you're in Marbella, you can get like amazing villas there. Very, very nice, modern, beautiful. Las Galeta, you know, great. You can overlook the hills, looking down to the Mediterranean, turn around and look up at the mountain, which I love. I think that's fantastic. I really don't like how they do this wealth tax thing on your property. You know, again, money no object, okay, but I still don't really like that. But more importantly is the proximity to things. So for me, I think I would say I would go for Côte d'Azur, the south of France, and I would buy a villa there. It's going to be more expensive than it is in south of Spain, but hey, look, again, money's no object. I actually find a really hard time finding nice, modern, awesome properties in the south of France. There's just like a ton of them in south of Spain. South of France, you have to dig a little bit more, but what I like is you have the lush green, which is great, and I want access to be close to places like Switzerland for the Alps. Obviously, I can, you know, go to the Amalfi Coast. That's great. I can, you know, get in my jet and fly private airports there to easily fly to Paris, to London, you know, wherever else pretty quickly and easily. I could go to Barcelona, you know, some of the cities that I really like, right? I think that would be great. I'm very close to, if I want to get away from things into, you know, kind of the more rural areas of France, I can do that. I can go, you know, explore parts of Italy. You know, all of this is kind of at my fingertips, and the weather is going to be pretty great. So weather being a big concern. Now, this is not probably going to cover me for the full year, so I'm probably going to do some traveling, right? I'm going to go to, you know, places like, you know, maybe I'll go and spend a little bit of time in the spring in some place like Tulum, right? Maybe I decide to buy a beach house there, who knows? Maybe I actually spend a little bit of time in the winter going up to Switzerland. I can buy a chalet there or something like that. That sounds nice to me. Go skiing, bring people in for Christmas. That sounds very nice. I'm not going to spend enough time in France in order to be resident there. I'm not going to get a residency permit. This is an advantage of having that Hungarian citizenship, is I'm going to say, okay, perfect. You know, My Hungarian citizenship gives me visa-free, like freedom of movement access to all of Europe. That's awesome. I am going to go and I'm going to buy a property and qualify for the golden visa in Portugal. Why am I going to do this? Because, you know, you say, well, you've already got good coverage. That's true. But I do like backups, right? And again, I mean, as is, it's pretty inexpensive, right? 350,000 euros. Maybe by the time I pay legal fees, it's another 20,000 euros or whatever. You know what? I want the backup. Might as well. So, you know, at the end of this, what have I got? I've got, I guess, 3 key citizenships, Grenada, Turkey, and Hungary. And I'm in line to get one for Portugal. I have my long-term residency in Singapore. Maybe from the standpoint of, you know, I want to have like some little freedom retreat place. Maybe I would also go and get, I don't know, maybe I would buy like an estate somewhere, right? That is a little bit more removed from things. I have some space. I have lots of, you know, things in that sense. Maybe I would do that. Hard to say where that would be. And, you know, again, I could buy a beach house somewhere if I want. If I was going to do like a beach house, it would probably be on the coast of, you know, one of these Southeast Asian countries, or it could be Hawaii, or it could be maybe like Tulum, that sort of area, right? So those would be kind of some of the areas that I'd be throwing around to consider. Now, some people might ask, well, hang on, the U.S. is not on here. Like, what's going on, you know? So from my perspective, you know, you could ask, well, where would you go in the U.S., right? Some people would say, okay, well, you know, New York offers a lot. And by the way, one of the advantages to me of being in south of France is I'm a food guy. And I mean, France and Spain are like the mecca of food. So this is great, you know. I can even easily go to San Sebastian, you know, check out all the food scene there. I can go up to Paris, of course, you know, Monaco, etc. is all accessible. So there's lots and lots of good food. I like that. If I look at the US, where would people typically say? Well, some people might say California. I hate the California culture. I find that some of it is a little bit grungy there. I lived briefly in Newport Beach, and you know, it's supposed to be kind of nice and things like this, but I find it's just like a little grungy. It's okay. I mean, Irvine is, you know, removed away from there. I spent a bit of time there as well, living briefly. So that was one thing. But to me, yeah, I'm not a big fan of California culture. Taxes and all the regulations and all that kind of stuff out. It's not for me, even though the weather is pretty good, right? I actually do really like Vegas. I think it's a great area, but you know, if I'm kind of looking at the tapestry of places, you know, the weather there is definitely not moderate, so I'm not going to likely do that. Texas, people may like there, or Arizona, etc. I mean, okay, those are okay places. Maybe I would consider in, you know, one of these places having some ranch or something that, you know, if I wanted to get away from everything, I could go there. But generally speaking, not so exciting. I do like Hawaii. Hawaii is amazing, and I appreciate people, you know, going there for the winter. To me, maybe a little removed from things as compared with, you know, again, if I'm in Singapore, I can fly down to. There's so many beautiful places in the Southeast Asia region, kind of the South Pacific, Indian Ocean, that area, and you know, so I can trade off on those. Some people might ask me, why not Dubai, right? So to me, the problem with Dubai is really comes down to weather, is one of the factors. I don't like the lack of lushness. So weather, it's too hot in the summer, it's too cold in the winter. Lack of lushness is a thing. The main reason, you know, I think that it's very attractive is it offers a lot and it's zero tax. I'm in this model getting more or less that anyway, pretty close. And so, you know, what's the advantage? Anyway, that would be kind of how I would structure it if, like I said, you know, I had money was completely no object and I had a clean slate. I didn't have anything that I was already building upon. Obviously, if you've already got some good citizenships, hey, look, you know, you're probably going to build on those. But I think it would be optimal for the life that I would want. So tell me in the comments what it is that you guys would think, what you say would be really ideal in terms of freedom. Again, kind of like, hey, how do we maximize our freedom? Lifestyle, how do we maximize our lifestyle? Obviously, everybody has different preferences in terms of lifestyle, right? So, you know, if you're somebody who likes to smoke weed, then Singapore is not for you, right? But, you know, to each their own. Anyway, hope you like that. If you haven't already, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, make sure you don't miss out on any future videos. Reach out to us if you have any questions, you're interested in things like this, you know, how to get passports, how to get citizenships, how to get residencies, etc., etc. And I'm going to see you guys on the next video.